Good evening, everybody. What's going on? Late night stream. Figured I would do something fun. Maybe do some late night Q&A, chit chat, talk Transformers, talk some of the news that's happening now, talk some of the crazy stuff that's happening, and you know, let it uh, let it go from there. And man, I've been so busy, um, like at home with stuff that trying to like catch up on everything that I want to do and like with both channels. Yeah, it's 9:45 here. I know it's like 6:46 on the West Coast, right? But yeah, I see where is it? Hold on, where is he? Um Scrolled up, there it is. The Thundercats 2011, right? Right, yeah. I need to actually like sit down and truly watch that both show. I want to watch both shows, like the 1985 and 2011 show, and actually um do like a comparison between the two, so this way that there's like something cool with that. And I want to put that on my second channel, and I just need to like take the time to really piece that together with everything happening with like, what is it, uh you know with Rise of the Beasts and all the news that's been coming out like that. It's like, and then trying to get my Prowl retrospective done. Gosh, that took me forever. If you guys know, that was supposed to come out in April. I was supposed to try and get that video out. It was supposed to come out in April, and it did not come out in time enough, I would say. And I see Eclipse Warlord becomes a member again for 34 months. Caught a live stream in a while since you could, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. So yeah, it's 5 p.m. on Cybertron. So happy birthday, Grimlock King. Where is he? Nope, no, there it is. How's it going there, everybody? Rodimus Primal 21, Maria Isabel. Good to see all you guys. You were not impressed with the 2011 Thundercats? You thought, see, like I love the original Thundercats too, and like the 2011 was at least a good a decent you know update, I think. And David Samuel Blaine becomes a member again for 14 months. Now you can gift memberships. I found this out. I didn't know about this until like recently, that you're actually allowed to you can gift people memberships. That's actually kind of cool that you can do that. I don't know if like I should be able to do that, like with my channel, right? Like you can, like if you wanted to actually gift other people memberships, it's kind of cool, because then they can kind of like get in on the I don't know if you want to call me Rodimus Primalites, or I don't know. I don't have a name for all you guys who can sit, you're fans of me, which is weird. I mean, like, I don't consider myself a celebrity. I've often said this, like, if you see me at like I'm going to be at TFCon in October, and I was at MegaCon in you know I was at MegaCon in last month as well, and oh man, Eclipse Warlord has gifted 5 people memberships. Check that out. And Scarecrow Prime becomes a member. I think you can click on it, and I think you're able to actually end up being gifted members. That's actually kind of cool. That, like, there we go. Optimus has been, TF Guy has been gifted a membership, becomes a member. Very, very cool. So I'm just kind of giving some time for people to show up, because I figure it's late at night. Some people might be watching other people, or might be busy with like family members. It's a Saturday night. I'm kind of chilling. Like tomorrow is there we go, Payback and Rodrigo Mora. If I'm butchering your names, becomes a member. Very cool. Very, very cool. Got some, next retrospective I make, I gotta add you guys to the list. What do I think of Why do do you think that Transformers Prime is overrated? Okay. So I don't hate Transformers Prime, but I don't place it higher as I don't place it as high as animated as far as like shows is concerned. And the reason why is because like my issue with Prime is that it wanted to do more, and they ran out of ideas at the end of season 2. And then season 3 they had to like struggle to figure out that third season. So there's a lot of back end stuff. I don't hate it. Like I don't hate the show. I had more fun watching animated than I did with Prime. So it's like it's not like I hate one or the other or love one more. Like I happen to like one more show than the other anyway. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Fire Brothers. Thank you for the super sticker. So with all of that, I got to give you guys a thank you for that one. Where are we? Hold on a sec. Which one should we go with today? Let's start off with this one here.
Word. Let's take it back to the old school. Word. Let's take it back to the old school.
So, yeah, gotta respect, but I mean, I like. The thing is it's on my tier of like Transformer series, like G1's at top, Beast Wars is like right below it as far as like ranking, and then I would rank animated, and then animated like would be below that, and then just below that is Prime. So like that's like my tier listing, and like other Transformer series like really struggle to like hit those to come close to those 4 in terms of Transformer series. Like H1 tries to do something, but I just think that those 4 like are tiered that way for me, and that's just my opinion. So animated is a lot of fun, but it has a lot of serious storytelling. Like Prime is very serious, sometimes needed a little bit more. Like I wouldn't say it doesn't have levity, it's just that it's like there's a level in which like there's a balance in G1 that like animated went for one direction and Prime went for the other, and like I don't know. So but that's just my opinion. Like everybody has their own favorite. To me, G1 will always be top tier, and Beast Wars will be just right below it as far as Transformer series is concerned, because I mean, I love the animation like that they did at the time. I have heard of Transtech. There's 2 things with Transtech. One thing was Transtech was supposed to be the continuation of Beast Machines, and the other is like that weird the convention exclusive storyline that they tried working. I think a lot of it is what do they call it? Prose stories that they wrote. So it's like trying to make that all work. So, but those 4 like would be like, great Transformer series to watch. And yes, this is my Ewin gaming chair. Of course, I've got an affiliate link that, we'll always talk about there. So let's get into what the craziness of Transformers news. It's been like hitting everybody like all at once, and everybody's been talking about. And one more shout out I want to give to before I actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to present this. So tonight's going to be a chill stream. So don't, I'm finally a gamer now. Haven't been playing games since like I was a kid, right? But let me just bring this up real quick. So if you guys are not familiar with the Marvel Productions Sunbow website, the guy who runs it is a cool guy by the name of Simon Lech, and he's been like, if you guys know, like I was struggling to hit my bills last year, and had a a major issue where my landlady was basically telling me that I have to hit the road by the end of my lease. And so I ended up moving from New Jersey down here to Florida. And so many of you were willing to help me. Well, this guy he's trying to, get himself a job, and he lost his job, but he also has the Marvel Productions website, the Sunbow Marvel Productions. But first I'll bring up his GoFundMe. He's not looking for much, but if anybody wants to help him out, I will copy this here, and I'm going to put this right in the chat. If anybody wants to give him a hand, be greatly appreciated to help him out. His website is really cool. So if you want to know like some of the production details of some of the backgrounds of like stuff of Transformers, he has been archiving this stuff. Anytime he can get like stuff for Transformers the movie or G1, like this is where you can learn like this was the original Marvel Comics treatment. Then you have like some of the backgrounds, you have like all this stuff here. And anytime you visit one of, his website, he does get ad revenue from that. So it is kind of like, it's a really cool archive site. And it's a great for reference material. Absolutely. If you guys know me, I study this stuff. Like I really, really study this stuff. So yeah, definitely. If you guys want to help him out, I'm sure he would absolutely appreciate it. So let's, and yes, I know I'm so close to 100K. Very, very close to 100K. I'm actually at what 99,600, and I'll probably do a live stream after I hit 100K because I have a bunch of stuff I want to subscriber only would be to like, actually no, I wouldn't do like a subscriber only or something like that, but I would just to like as a celebration, I'll be doing like a live giveaway. And I hate to use that word because I know that it'll trigger like the robots that come in, and I'll make sure it'll be like one of those, like I'm going to try to use the same thing that Patriot Prime does. Like he's a friend of the channel, and he always does those giveaways where like with the Toy Hacks labels. So I'll do something along those lines when I hit 100K. So which one is this? This one. There it is. So this is the rumor mill right now that that Dead Prowl is coming, and I'm not sure how I feel about that because I missed out on the Earthrise Ironhide 2-pack, and I'm really, really annoyed about that. That I couldn't get my hands on the figure. So I'm like, geez, like, now I'm trying to get, like, I have Legacy, the animated Prowl coming, but I'm not like, I still want a G1 Prowl, like the newer update to a G1 Prowl. And here we're going to get a Studio Series 86, but he's going to be dying. Like right when he gets the blast from Scavenger through his chest, you're going to be able to reenact that scene with like an open mouth and everything, apparently. And he's gonna have the cartoon deco. It's just going to be the Earthrise, but it's going to be retooled a bit. So I'm wondering if the chest will have, allow me to be able to even get there. So, like to be able to have like a Prowl figure, but if it's going to be a dying one. And it's just like, yeah. They did do a Dead Prime. It was called Alternate Universe Optimus Prime. It was the Earthrise figure, but in gray. So they actually did do it. Like that's the second time they've done a figure of a corpse, now that they're going to be doing. It kind of sucks. It sucks because I really want a regular Prowl, and it just kind of sucks in that's the case. So Rico Red Star, long time no see. I haven't seen you in a bit. you know, but yeah, I did see that Stan Bush is coming to RetroCon, but I have a little bit of a thing is how am I going to get to Pennsylvania this year? that is that is the thing that does suck is like I'm trying to figure out like am I going to drive up to Pennsylvania or am I going to fly? And if I do, I would need the money to be able to get a hotel room and because money is a little bit on the tighter side this year. So, but yeah, but I want to go. I do want to go. So it's not like I don't. It just kind of like need to be able to. I do plan on going to TFCon in Orlando though. That is an absolute plan. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if they're going to do a dying or a dead Ironhide, like have him like you can remove the head and it's like has the blast all over his shoulders and stuff like that and cracked up and smashed up. How's it going there, Raz? Guys haven't checked out his channel, you absolutely should. He does a lot of I know you've been doing a lot of toy reviews, but usually you do some pretty cool stuff with the the voice actors. Like that's like usually like your primary focus, which is always like cool. And yeah, well, I just recently did the Prowl retrospective, and I'm thinking about I don't know if I should revisit my Blue Streak one in the near future. Starscream was his favorite Transformer. Yeah. And he also said that Skywarp is the one who became Cyclonus. Yeah, it's alternate universe Prowl. I wonder what they're gonna call it. Are they gonna call it like, being hit or like it's kind of weird to like it almost voice actor spotlights. That's it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, that's kind of neat. If they release a dead Prowl Deco, that confirms for me that he's going to be the Earthrise mold. Yeah. Yeah, like they're not just going to do a brand new mold for him, which kind of sucks. But if they retool it a little bit just so that it's a little bit closer to his cartoon, counterpart, but it's going to be cartoon accurate, at least colors. It's just the chest is going to have a burn mark. And I'm wondering if it's going to come with like a purple thing that you can attach. And I wonder what they're going to call it. It's supposed to be part of a 2-pack, this means that Prowl, will be part of the Bumblebee 86 2-pack. Who that is will remain to be seen. So battle damaged Autobot shuttle for 86. Yeah. If they do a regular release for him, I'd be very happy. Like doing a non-bat, like you can buy like their battle damage ones as a special 2-pack, and then the other one be plain. Like that would be better. I know I'm banging my desk here, but it's like I could still buy an Earthrise Prowl if I can afford what the aftermarket price for an Earthrise Prowl is. I missed out on that 2-pack. So, and yeah. Other thing, where are we? I don't want to talk about Rise of the Beasts just yet, but I do want to talk about the IDW minor Megatron drill tank that they are doing. They are releasing Siege Megatron again. They're going to retool him. And he is going to come with the pickaxe that he used in Megatron Origin. And a crazy thing about him is like, for the pickaxe to work, you need a Psykill figure. So maybe you might want to take either Rekgar or Junk Heap and retool him like from Studio Series 86 and turn that into Psykill. Because that's who Megatron killed. Like that's what I think was his first murder in the IDW comics. So the drill tank looks great. Personally, myself, it's not something I'm going to collect. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I fully intend right now. I have a head that I need to paint, and I have a Earthrise Megatron to recolor. So that is in my plans to do in the near future. Princeton Phalanx for 2. Am I getting Legacy Motormaster reissue? Yes. Yes. I ordered him through Big Bad Toy Store. I was going to order through Entertainment Earth, but they pushed their pre-orders back until August. And it's like, I want to get this guy already. Like, I want to get him sooner than later. And I want to make sure that I have the funds to do so. Because Motormaster, I was so annoyed that I missed out on him. And I'm hoping that, like, so if you have the money to spend at the moment, you really want to get him, I've got to get him. Absolutely got to get him. So thanks to Toy Hacks, you have him. Okay. Neat. So, but would have I thought that Siege Megs came out was going to release like a Seeker or a Sideswipe mold? Well, no, I actually thought that they would go ahead with this particular tooling. Because why not? This is like Megatron Origin. Exactly, it's Origins Megatron. So, speaking of IDW, has there been any news on who'll be writing the new comics or whether or not? No, there's been no news as of late. We're already in May and there's been no announcements. So I'm curious if Hasbro is questioning whether or not to invest in more comic books. So Zayden Primo. Okay. As a fan, you guys bringing Optimus Prime back for season 3 finale, or do you think it was a last ditch effort? No, I think they had gotten a lot of they got a lot of letters and they were like, okay, well, we have to do this. We have to bring him back. They weren't intending to bring him back. They were intending that by the end of season 3, Rodimus Prime would have gone through his he would have literally gone through his story arc and he would have become the leader that he needed to be, and that was where they were intending to go. That's why Dark Awakening happens early on in season 3 and why Burden Hardest to Bear happens later in season 3. He's supposed to have gone through an arc, and they kind of just undid that by bringing Optimus Prime back a little too early. They should have brought Optimus. It's one of those things where I think a late addition to season 4, if they actually did a season 4, a full-blown 30 to 60 episode season 4 of like bringing Optimus Prime back during the whole Headmaster saga, that would have been cool, because then you could have led into the Power Master Optimus Prime toy. But that's where I look at it. I do want Legacy Menace Motormaster, but I just got myself Trailbreaker and I don't have the money. Yeah, well, hopefully he's still, there's plenty of him available by that point. So I know he's sold out on Hasbro Pulse, but he's available on Entertainment Earth and he's available through Big Bad Toy Store. I do know that. Yeah, comics went flat. Now I had to read through IDW 2 for the Prowl retrospective, and I found it so boring. It was one of the most boring reads of Transformers comics I have ever read in my life. Like, I love Marvel G1, but and I know there are a lot of good stories in IDW, even if I'm not a huge IDW fan. Dreamwave was like leaps and bounds better than IDW2. Good God, it was awful. It was IDW2 awful? So I have Dead Prime, definitely key. Yeah, that would be kind of neat. Just do a 2-pack and it's like Living Prowl and Dead Prowl. Oh man, poor Prowl, man. He gets the raw end of the stick, The poor guy, like at the, when he gets revived in the later part of Marvel G1, he has this like tension with Grimlock, and him and Grimlock just butt heads. And a lot of people see, like, they look down on Prowl because of those storylines. But, in some ways Prowl was right, even though Grimlock was right as well too. So it is what it is. Can someone release? I've heard rumor about the 86 Ultra Magnus And I'm just gonna go back to this for now, and I'll go back to the the other one in a moment. But let me just X out of a few things so that I've heard rumor that there is Ultra Magnus is coming. So it's not like I haven't heard about that. I have stated that I really, really want them to do full-blown commander class Ultra Magnus, but don't make him as this tall, like just a little bit taller than Kingdom Rodimus Prime, but he combines with his trailer. Like that's what I kind of want out of a Kingdom Ultra Magnus, and he full on Optimus Prime. Then you can take that Optimus Prime and release a Studio Series 86 Optimus that doesn't need to merge with the trailer or anything, but has a regular full-on trailer. Like that would be cool. Yeah, Prowl is by the book. What do you expect? Right, exactly. Like it's kind of like the way his part of his character. I think I saw where 86. There has been rumor about that. Ultra Magnus was always going to be a temporary leader. In the very, 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 very first draft of Transformers the movie, Ultra Magnus actually dies and is not revived. And Hasbro was not happy about that. And they actually turned around and actually had him revived because he's the new toy to sell. So it was never planned on being Optimus Prime reborn. So Rodimus Prime was always planned to be the Optimus Prime reborn in Hot Rod. So does anyone hate that Bumblebee? Huh? I don't understand that. I remember the two-parter aired, a kid outside empty streets. Yeah. Everybody was glued to their TV sets for that one, right? I have all the Dreamwave comics too. Issue 10 was the last issue of volume 3. And we were supposed to get like at least 4 more issues of storyline that was like even like prepared, but they went bankrupt. Yeah, there was a lot of good storylines in those early IDW issues. Some stuff I didn't care for that they went in certain directions with certain characters, but it was actually really good storytelling. I will say that. Really have my eyes on Studio Series Rise of the Beast Scourge. I've heard he's a good figure. I have not collected a lot of movie bots, so I do have like still in the box I have over there, and it's going to be part of the giveaway is probably going to be a Studio Series, like when I go hit 100K, is going to be this Studio Series Fallen and Last Night Hot Rod. So it's just one of the things that like I'm probably going to get out of my shelves. Rumor is 86. I don't know if it's going to be in the same pack. I wonder if it's going to be Ratchet or Ironhide. So we'll see. Just to release a 10-pack of our childhood getting blasted to bits. Yeah, I love it. I love Prowl. Like I like the G1 cartoon Prowl and Buddy Yansky Prowl. Furman Prowl is where everybody thinks of him negatively. So, yeah. And animated Prowl. I do like that character. Although animated, I look at him as a new character, so I would like to give him like a new I would give him the name Night Prowler because he's like dark. So not that he's a dark character, just that he's a black motorcycle. So like Night Prowler would be kind of a cool name for him. I know it's already the Cheetor thing. I do wish Dreamwave lasted longer, but Pat Lee is a jerk. So I've heard there are a lot of people who Pat Lee owes money to, and Matt Moylan is one of them. So I've heard of Nerdzoik. I've not checked out his store before. I don't know if he has like an affiliate program, but it would be kind of neat if kind of get involved in that. It's kind of ironic you released your yeah. As soon as I heard the news, I was like, what? I just released a Prowl retrospective. Like I've had Prowl in the works for like 2 years, 2, 3 years. Like the information was kind of like roughly written for 2 to 3 years. And then I went back and I really redid the whole script from top to bottom. Like, but that's how long I've been waiting to do a retrospective of that character. So I have to track down. Okay, so Breakdown and Wild Rider. In the description of this video, there is an affiliate link for Entertainment Earth. You can pre-order Breakdown and Wild Rider from Entertainment Earth. They're still there. And yeah. So do a list of the most underappreciated Transformers characters. Okay. So here's some. I think DevCon, and I think I probably should redo a DevCon video. Like I have a retrospective, but I should maybe just add the fact that DevCon has gotten released, or just tell everybody go buy the DevCon figure and go watch the DevCon video for that. I would say, a character that doesn't get a lot of love nowadays, like a lot of the mini bots from 85, like Beachcomber and Sea Spray and Power Glide, and they don't get as much love as I think that they should. I think maybe some of the like not as many people have known like the 85 through 86 toys that became the Wreckers. Some of those characters don't get as much love, I think. That would be there's I mean, you can list a lot of characters, like the later 88, 89 characters. So I'm just hoping to get my hands on an 86. Yeah. I mean, I have a Ratchet up there. You can already see him. That is the 2-pack one. And I've painted him up and toy haxed him up. And I'm like, do I get rid of that figure or do I keep that one? That's really the question I have. You miss well, get Siege Springer. See if you can get your hands on Siege Springer, and then maybe they might release Springer for Studio Series 86. That would be kind of cool. I don't know if they would release that figure again. They already released it as the G1 toy, colors, because the Siege one was all battle damage. So Dreamwave went bankrupt too quickly, and it's because Pat Lee spent all the money. So just got the PC 17 upgrade for CW Magnus. Okay, cool. You don't know, you can't, I don't know. We don't know what we're going to see. Like, I don't know what's coming down the pipeline. So Ultra Magnus was a strong kick character, but in season 3, he was unsure. No. Ultra Magnus in the movie was like, he was trying to be the leader, but he couldn't. And then he got where he was comfortable in season 3. He was that second in command. And that's where Ultra Magnus like really shined. Dreamwave went under because the dude running it forgot to pay artists and writers. Exactly. And then he just ran with the money somewhere. I don't know what he did with the money. Did you like the Last Bot Standing storyline? I'm up and down with it. It was okay. It had some fun moments, and then it had some weird moments, like Super Saiyan Rodimus. But it really felt like the last storyline of IDW1. That's what it felt like to me. Like it was the closure for IDW1 Rodimus, even though I don't think it can fit continuity wise, at least as far as my understanding is concerned. So I don't know. I'm up and down with it. I would like to see a Prowl and Strong Arm team up, and I would like to see animated Prowl as a third, person in the mix, and I'd like to see them fight Barricade. That would be awesome. Do I have? Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, you'd have a Plague Ultra Magnus. So yeah, I know I'm trying to catch up with some of the chat here. Yeah, it was fun. Like I had a lot of fun moments. If you look at it as a standalone story, it's a fun story. So, Ultra Magnus was originally going to die. Yeah, he was. So he was supposed to, like that moment where Galvatron kills him. That was supposed to be his death. And that was the first draft. Second draft, he lives. So I think the one thing we can agree on is IDW. they were immensely dark. Tarn is like evil. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and just get back up to the. I know I'm like gonna skim. I'm gonna skim through some of these. Prowl will traumatize everybody. Where is Skylinks? Skylinks is in a bin over there because I don't have enough room on the shelf. Like I have 2 small shelves up here, and it's like, where am I gonna put them? But I do have to redo that shelf. I might take Skyfire down and Star Saber down, and I might put Skylinks up. Like I might do a. I'm gonna do a rotation, soon. I need to because like I haven't done a change. Thanks for joining in, Eclipse. No Energon in 84's comic, but Energon Cube so popular they got. Yeah, that's true. The Megatron pistol that comes with the Seeker G1 re-release fits the 5mm hand, so you can. Yeah, that's cool. I have that Starscream, so I'm gonna actually like use that as the accessory instead. So it's like it's a better accessory. I wonder if they're gonna do Legacy style Prime breakdown. They might. I think they will. I honestly think they will. Sunstreaker deserves more love. Absolutely. G1 Scourge definitely underappreciated. Definitely a character that following Rise of the Beasts, I'm going to try my best to get a retrospective sometime this year of him. Mirage was written out early in the Hero 3-parter storyline. Well, Mirage does show up. He has the episode Trader, and he shows up in a few more G1, season 2 episodes. Yeah, I said about that. Will I be getting the Nemesis? Yes, I will be getting the Nemesis. Do I think that the Transformers series can work without Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron? Guys, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you can find the DVDs for it, go get your hands on Transformers Victory. It's a Japanese anime. It's part of the G1 cartoon continuity in Japan. So the leader of the Autobots in that series at first was God Jinrai from Master Force. So he's a different character, but looks like Optimus Prime. Long story, made a video on it. But Victory had Star Saber as the leader of the Autobots versus Deathsaurus as the leader of the Decepticons. And it was a classic Transformers cartoon without Optimus Prime and Megatron, and it worked. That is the reason why there he is. Victory Saber is on my shelf because of Transformers Victory. So yes, it can work. Is it told well? Depends upon the writer. Depends upon the writer. So I missed out on Amazon Ratchet. So yeah, I know a lot of people are looking for that. And Beachcomber and Sugar Bear? What? I have Siege Ratchet, and I didn't care for him as much. Like I like the Earthrise one better because it's I think it's a better figure. Kung Fu Hustle, my man. What's up? What's going on there? Not enough media explores Blue Streak's backstory. Very true. Very, very true. I wish that G1. I wish that there was a US season 4. Really like Last Bite standing. Yeah, that would be cool. Give him the cape and give him the Super Saiyan, like a Super Saiyan crown. That'd be cool. So Fire Brothers, my brother couldn't be here tonight because he was too busy grieving over a dying Prowl in the title of this video. So, yeah. Sorry, I had to throw one of those jokes in. Siege Springer is a great figure, and I think that if they just did him without the battle damage, like mine, I already painted, so I wouldn't buy it. But others who have it and have the battle damage or miss out on the figure, I think it'd be a great idea. Love a Transformers Batmobile figure. Well, it's funny enough. Get Transformers Cybertron Megatron. It is the Batmobile. Literally. Yeah, it was great as second in command. All right, I'm just going to catch up, and I'm sorry if I'm missing out on some of your guys' comments. But if you guys want to throw some super chats my way, or gift people some memberships, feel free to do so. I'm going to get back into my thoughts on some of the Transformers news. I don't think that Knockout should be part of the Stunticons. I think that he is great as his own standalone character. Now you need to record that joke. Well, maybe if you cover that in one of your own videos, you can say that one was in courtesy of Rodimus Primal. So it's all good. But yeah, let's get into this next bit. So those of you guys have been paying attention this past week. I've been not as I've been, because I was so exhausted from doing this Prowl retrospective that all the Transformers Rise of the Beast news kind of got under my skin, if that makes any sense. I because the thing is like I don't care for the Bay films. And I know some of you may have started Transformers with the Bay films. You're welcome as to me, my opinion, everybody's welcome as a Transformers fan. Like you could come from all different age, shape, sizes, shapes, whatever. You could be a Transformers fan. Like that's cool. You may have started with the live action films. I don't like the live action films, and because I honestly think that they're, I wish they followed the storylines, that Jim Shooter and Bob Budiansky originally crafted, and we had in the G1 Marvel comics and cartoons, and the robots actually looked recognizable to their original counterparts, even if they were updated alternate modes, and that they didn't have the potty humor and stuff. So, and the last night was like, for me, I was like, all right, enough. So Bumblebee was kind of like this olive branch. We had this G1 intro with a pretty decent movie. And like I really, really enjoyed the Bumblebee movie. I wish it did have more action to it, but you had that a lot of people even say like if you have the first three, yeah, I see you guys in the comments, you're saying like the first three Bay films, if you ended there, with those three Bay films, it would have been fine. And maybe they could have started over and started fresh from there, because, the way that it ended, it was like, it was an ending, but they had to keep going for two more movies, and they just really like dragged their feet in a way. So the Bumblebee movie was originally intended to be a prequel. And then Travis Knight decided to change some of the storyline in the movie and try to make it basically a new storytelling universe. But, and seeing the G1 robots on Cybertron was like, it was eye candy. And then on top of that, you had Bumblebee, was a character in the rest of the movie. Like, even though he lost his voice box, which I've never been a fan of, he fought off against Shatter and Dropkick, and the fights with Shatter and Dropkick were great. Like, you could tell what was happening. The action was fantastic. The way it was, all of that was framed was a lot better, action wise, than a lot of other Bay films. And the plot holes, yeah. And then, of course, the plot holes in the Bay films were just a mess. But again, you say, well, G1 had plot holes. Yeah, G1 had plot holes, and a lot of G1 fans have pieced it together. It's really difficult to do so between the Bay films and each other. But it's even more so if you try to take the way that the presented Bumblebee movie that we got and try to make that a prequel. It's very difficult to do so. It's even more difficult to do so with Rise of the Beasts, because Rise of the Beasts is a sequel, and Unicron is not the planet Earth. It's not the planet Earth in Rise of the Beast. So how does this work? And everyone's saying like, well, it's a reboot. And the interviews from like Lorenzo Di Bonaventura has stated otherwise. So I wanted to bring this up because this specific question asked of Stephen Capel Jr. Makes you quite understand like where they were going. So it says, So I assume you will need to contextualize things for the casual moviegoers who last saw Bumblebee. What do you think they will need to go going into Rise of the Beast? You don't need to know much. If anything, Bumblebee got here in 1987 along with Optimus Prime. They tried to seek refuge on Earth until they can get back to Cybertron. Ultimately, all you need to know is they're trying to get back to Cybertron. If you can go into this movie just knowing that piece of information, you'll be able to track it completely. It doesn't mess up any of the timeline in 2006, 2007. Again, I'll get back to that. We're going into the direction that allows us to protect the side of the universe, but that's all you need to know. And you're not familiar with Beast Wars, I would say just watch the film itself. You don't have to get caught up with Beast Wars franchise in order to watch our movie. I feel like this is a standalone. Okay, so that's fine, right? But how does that work, right? Because the last night, kind of confirms Bumblebee got here during World War II and fought with Hot Rod during World War II. And, so the Bumblebee movie was changed. This doesn't work with that. And Unicron was Earth in that in the last night. So again, how does it work? Well, the bio cards. Where are we? Not that one. Here it is. The bio cards. So I want to bring this one up, and this is interesting. The Unicron bio card says Devourer of Planets, it's his designation. His threat level is to repeat Unicron eats worlds. He's always hungry. Converts into Unicron, uses the energy from the ecosystems he's ingested to become the most omnipotent force in the multiverse. He's not exactly a force for good either. General demeanor as the embodiment of evil. It's fair to say that Unicron isn't the most understanding of leaders, as the Terracons discover if you fail him in any task, you will pay a harrowing price. Unicron's primary function is to bring chaos and ruin, sending Scourge and his team of Terracons on a mission to retrieve a key that will open a portal in space and time is merely the start of his abhorrent plans. It says that Unicron is the deity so large that he can consume entire worlds and all life on them, and he has a cosmic hunger. So that being said, the Unicron of this movie is the multiverse idea. Now, this isn't new to Transformers. In fact, this was done in G1 Marvel Comics. So Unicron plucked Galvatron from a timeline in which Galvatron had conquered the Earth after Unicron ate Cybertron. And in that universe, plucked the Unicron of the G1 Marvel comic plucked Galvatron from that timeline, and that's who he was. So they might be taking from that idea. Now, I theorized this a while back when Bumblebee was new. I theorized this in a few of my videos and I think in live streams before. And I know that some of you guys have been following along, know exactly where I'm going with this. Unicron was the Earth. What if in the Bayverse? What if he woke up and transformed and he ate Cybertron and the Earth? Well, the Earth, what was left of the Earth, and all the Transformers and all of Cybertron of the Bayverse with it. And then from there, here is the theory that some people have been talking about, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but what if Bayverse Prime is the actual is the identity of Scourge? And then he comes, he uses the transwarp key, He sends Scourge to get the transwarp key in order to open the portal so that Unicron from the Bayverse can arrive in Rise of the Beast timeline. That would work. That would work. But that would all depend upon how they do it. That's been a theory I've kind of had. Now, this one right here, I agree with. They disrespected poor Wheeljack. Wheeljack has been the one point of contention for me. That would be a real point of contention. That's been a real point of contention for me because I saw Wheeljack in the Bumblebee movie. I really, really got excited seeing one of my favorite characters on the big screen, if even for a split second. Just a split second. All I wanted to do was see that guy brought to Earth, show up, be part of the team in the movies. Why? Because I saw the Bumblebee movie and I got excited. I got excited to see that character. And unfortunately, the character that we're getting in Rise of the Beast is not that character. We're getting a completely different guy, and he's going to be called Wheeljack. And the reason why he's called Pablo is because of the TV Pablo on the side of his truck mode that he has. But it's because he lands in South America, which explains the voice actor that they chose for the role. It is what it is. To me, it's just a different character. It's not even the same Wheeljack from Bumblebee. That's the way that I'm going to look at it. It's a completely different Wheeljack. So the Wheeljack that we wanted to see, we're just not getting. That's all. So if you want to know what you missed, I talked about a dying Prowl. I talked about someone that needs help. Talked about a minor Megatron. And I talked to, who was it? Then I talked about the idea that some were saying that this is part of the Bayverse, and I don't think it's going to work as part of the Bayverse. And you got to understand something. The reason why fans get so worked up about this stuff is because we care. We care. We care about the franchise. We care about the characters. We care whether or not these Transformers are going to be handled with care. I think that Stephen Cable Jr. is making the Transformers themselves as characters in this film. Like, we're actually going to have the Autobots be characters. And for that, I'm going to give him credit for. I'm still going to have an issue with my man Wheeljack. And I could say I can let it go, but it's like I can go see the movie and I can still hate what they've done to Wheeljack. Like I could see the movie and enjoy it and still hate what they did to Wheeljack. Like, is that like there has to be that, like, people have to be able to make that line. So, heck, I don't call this guy Mirage. Well, think about Mirage this way. What is if Mirage has the ability to make the multiples of himself because they're going with his G1 Marvel Comics ability and his tech spec bio, and he's a rich boy. So what if this Mirage is a young rich boy instead of the snobby rich boy? Like, think about that for a second. What if that's like the personality that they're going with this Mirage? So, I'm just throwing it out there because Mirage is one that I'm not as angry about. Like I know some people are really, really angry about the alt mode. The Porsche 911 is actually a pretty rare car. It's an expensive, rich guy's car. Doesn't matter if it was the street legal 911 or if it was the racing Martini 935. They're both pretty much the same car. because that's what a lot of people are looking at him like. That's Jazz, right? And in robot mode, he looks more like Mirage. Like he actually looks like Mirage. Like take a look at the helmet, and he has, it's blue. It's a blue helmet, and he has like that cross thing on his, you know, yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, yeah, the movie could be great, but what they did to Wheeljack will damper the experience. And a lot of fans feel that way. A lot of fans feel that way. So, okay. So I have to say this because I'm looking at my Mirage retrospective and I'm thinking about remastering it after Rise of the Beast comes out. And I think it's Ligear, right? I said Ligear. I think it's Ligear, right? Ligear JS 11, and it's Jacques Lafitte, right? That's how you pronounce it. So those of you who can speak French or understand that pronunciation, please enlighten me. Theory time. G was Japanese continuity. Wheeljack saw the future from dying in Brayverse. So he went to the multiverse. Well, that is kind of part of Japanese continuity with Binaltech. So that's you're not. Someone said you were blinded by nostalgia because I like G1, but then they're also blind. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the crazy thing. Think about it. If you grew up on Bayverse and you hate everything else Transformers that is not Bayverse, then you're just as blinded by nostalgia as the G1 fans. You call us G1ers, maybe we should call you Bay1ers. There are people who are Transformers Prime fans that feel the same way. That like, no, animated sucks, G1 sucks, Beast Wars sucks. Only Transformers Prime is good. Do we call it? Or the ones who have sent me DMs, really nasty DMs that I don't want to get into too much detail about what was actually stated in those ones, because when Legacy Bulkhead and RC came out, I was like, the figures actually look pretty good. RC I'm not as feeling as much, but Bulkhead looks awesome, and I got Bulkhead and I love it. I got a nasty comment from a Prime fan that was, I should have reported. That's going to be the basic of it. And that's what I would call a Prime oneer. Someone who wishes harm on someone else because they are not a Prime only Transformers fan. So, and yeah, like to me, like I'm a G1 hardcore, but I love and I adore Beast Wars. You talk about how bad the villains. Yes. So Predacons. The Predacons are not much as villains in this movie. It's the Terracons they are making the villains in this movie a big deal, but they're not like, and he looks like a Dreamwave Fallen XP. Yeah, relaxed, you're Mirage. So I would love to see Megatron in the movie. I would absolutely love to see Megatron in the movie. Or at least maybe the next sequel. So like bring Megatron back and make him like full-blown hardcore evil, mustache twirling, I'm going to destroy the unit, I'm going to destroy the Autobots, conquer mankind, pillage the energy of the earth, and then go back to Cybertron, revive it, and rule and conquer Cybertron, and then go conquer the galaxy. That's the kind of Megatron that I want to see. And you say, oh, that's a mustache twirling thing. And it's like, come on. That's who Megatron is. And so here's another one that I've not been so angry about either, like Battle Trap. Who was Battle Trap? Well, I did a Duocon retrospective. And my Duocon retrospective was before I found out that they were going to do Battle Trap in Rise of the Beasts. So Battle Trap was a Duocon. So like you had a truck and a helicopter combined and they formed a robot. In this, he's a tow truck. But all Battle Trap and Flywheels were, or Skytread as he was known in Siege, was a Duocon, and that was it. There was no personality. So for Battle Trap to just be a Terracon, it's, it is what it is. I do like what they're doing with Nightbird. Nightbird looks crazy. Yeah. So have the perfect opportunity to build Megatron in his absence. Imagine if he gets the Thanos treatment. Ooh. Yeah. Have him show up in the end credits with the other Decepticons. That would be awesome. Have him come back and say, okay, fine, I'll do it myself. I don't even know who you are. Do you think that they're afraid to completely leave the Bayverse behind and start over? Yes, I do. I completely think that is the reason why Bumblebee still looks like this. Why he still has the pacifier mouth. Why he doesn't have his voice box fixed yet. And he's going to lose this Autobot symbol from Scourge. But yeah, I do think that they are not going to... They don't want to leave the Bayverse behind, but I honestly think, and my theory is that the Bayverse gets eaten by Unicron. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. It's this guy that they did dirty. This guy they did dirty. Really did dirty. Especially after seeing him. Now, the Maximals I'm excited about, but I'm excited and I'm disappointed in their backstory. Because the Maximals and the Predacons have the Beast Wars on prehistoric Earth. But you can't have prehistoric Earth if you don't have the G1 story. The G1 story is, the Autobots and Decepticons have ravaged their home world, so they leave Cybertron. And they crash land on Earth 4 million years ago. So that's prehistoric Earth. Well, if the Decepticons and Autobots, have to start their war in 1984, according to G1, the Beast Wars takes place in the far future of G1, and they time travel to prehistoric Earth in between, after the Ark has already crashed into the volcano, and they're fighting on Earth before humans even exist. So their war happens, and they even that crossover happens that way. Well, Rise of the Beast does it differently. They come from a different planet. They're still Cybertronian, but they come from a different planet. I'm hoping he says that's just Prime. If he says that, I'll be happy. I'm sure Cheetor will not say Ultra Gear. Someone called Bumblebee's pacifier mouth a ball gag. Airraiser is one people are saying they don't know if she's going to transform, which really sucks because Michelle Yao is a great talent they're using for the film. Yeah, Frank Welker's voice is legendary. And I'm really curious what they're going to do with Rhinox. So RC is one that some people have been, on the fence about. I like what she looks like. She looks like G1 RC, but in a racing outfit. Yeah, we need Rat Trap to say, we're all gonna die. And Liza Koshy, I think she's gonna do good for the role. I know some people don't like her voice. It is what it is, but as far as what she looks like and how she's gonna act in the movie, she looks cool. So they should. I think we're only getting the 4 Maximals, and I think that any other Maximals are going to be dead prior to the beginning of Rise of the Beast. So Stratosphere is an interesting one. Stratosphere is one that he's basically the Autobot Taxi, and he's voiced by John DiMaggio. I like him. I really dig this design. So she gives you Catwoman vibes. I saw a video of Liza Koshy way back in the day, and it's got like, I think like 7 million views. Like nobody gives me that kind of viewership. I wish I got her that kind of viewership. And she was like the person who would interview people on the street for New Year's Eve. But she went to the dollar store and she's like, it's a dollar for $1. And it was like, it was a really stupid Vine style video. But yeah, he is giving me Revenge of the Fallen Jetfire vibes. And I think that's the reason why they're using the character. Beast Wars Silverbolt would be great. I would love to see Beast Wars Silverbolt on the big screen. He's sort of like Skyfire. So, but that's just been it for, Transformers news. But now we can just kind of chill for a little while. We've been on the stream for about an hour, and I have some Transformers I haven't opened. Maybe I should open some of them. Sorry, but that head design, old man face, it works. Because, Transformers can have mustaches. They've had mustaches since G1. Like, look at Alpha Trion and Scourge. War stories with listening to Cup. Yeah, we need Cosmos in a movie. That's for sure. That is for sure. Oh yeah, there's also apparently Saudi Arabia is going to be opening up an indoor Transformers entertainment center in Saudi Arabia. We've got, I already talked about the Dead Prowl incoming. The dislike for Beast Wars was immense back in the day, but nowadays people have accepted it. My brother doesn't like Beast Wars, but I do. Yeah. Well, I adore Beast Wars, and I'm a G1 hardcore. And like, what do I mean by that? Beast Wars connects to G1 in such a meaningful way. Like, I love the way that it connects to G1 as a sequel series. So Beast Machines, I'm 50-50 on. I hated the ending. Still mad about Bay vs. Jetfire. Yeah. What non-G1 character retrospectives are in the works? One that's on the back burner is Knockout, I would say. I've done Barricade, I've done Bulkhead. Maybe a Blackout or Grindor, or I was thinking about Blackout and Knockout. Is that both of those characters actually technically are G1? They're late G1, but they are G1. It is and it isn't. It is its own thing, and it's well, technically speaking, both Hound and Mirage have similar powers. I have not yet done a Windblade video. If they do a new Windblade figure, which I'm hoping they do in the near future, I would love to do one for her and one for Slipstream for the same reason. The aesthetics term you offer Beast Wars for a long time, but it's a good story with good characters if you can get over the visuals. Absolutely, especially once you get to Season 2. Season 2 is just great. Just great. How do I feel if I pull off a dark Energon Cliff? Yeah, without contradicting or disrespecting it. Exactly. We do need a new Windblade. Absolutely. And a Slipstream. Wonder how Stratosphere will sound. I wonder if, since it's John DiMaggio, maybe it might sound like Bender. We'll see. Beast Wars Megatron, who was before, claims to have taken his name. Yes, but he took it from, I believe he took it from G1. He says his namesake. The Covenant of Primus technically could mean the Fallen was Megatronus. That's where they got that from. But Yeah, one thing I can't get is why fans like different versions of, like, it's all cool and inspiring. The death threats aren't cool. Yeah, exactly. I mean, people grow up with animated Bayverse and Prime. To me, I'm not a fan of Bayverse at all. I like animated better than Prime. But to me, G1 really is that foundation. You really got to get that foundation to understand like where a lot of G1 fans come from. At least if you watch G1, watch it from a perspective of, I want to see what G1 fans are all, why they get so excited about it. Even if you're not, if you still find another one of those series more important, you should go back to G1 and then like get into it at least enough to like I want to see what it is that they like. I want to know, I want to figure out why they like it so much and why they're so attached to it. And not just the G1 cartoon, but the G1 Marvel comics too. So, watching the stream now, Sally, I hope you feel better, Toku Prime. Say everybody, you know, hopefully Toku Prime, if anybody's, praying, people, put out a prayer for Toku Prime. Good guy, very good guy. Will we see G1 Dinobots in these new movies? Doubt it, but Swoop is next year. So we'll get the 86 Dinobots. I don't understand the hate with Stratosphere. To me, it's I love him. I think it's kind of cool, this brand new character. I'm the same way with Wheeljack. If I was able to look at Wheeljack in the Rise of the Beast robot, the nerdy robot, if you told me that robot was Fix-It or Gizmo or Wrencher, just I'm throwing out names, Wrencher or something, just not Wheeljack, I'd be like, cool, like awesome, new bot. Yeah, okay, he's nerdy. They're playing it in with the glasses and the seat belts and the, no, Headmasters is not the end of G1. It's the end of the G1 cartoon. G1 ended in the G1 cartoon ended in 87. Like the last episode, the new episode was in 87. But they had the Power Master Prime in 88. And the show, the toy line and the comic book went all the way until 1990, 1991. So G1 was 84 through 91. If you include the comic book up until its ending, is G1. So it's a lot of stuff, and a lot of toys came out during those years. So everything from Needle Nose to Bludgeon to Mainframe in the Action Masters line, like I can go on and on. Like there's a lot of late 80s stuff that you guys probably don't know about. Have I done a Wind Charger topic yet? Not yet. I want a new toy for him to come out first, and I'll have because there's still some, there's still some characters I want to cover. Six Shots, an underrated Decepticon. Yes, he's a character I actually want to do a retrospective on in the future. Red Alert is another character I want to do one. Grew up with Bayverse, but when I get back to watch them, then I'm like, this really isn't as good as I was when I'm younger. Yeah, you start to see the things that like, you know what it is, because no matter what, Transformers is cool for all ages, whether it's no matter what the version is, because you're seeing giant robots fighting each other, giant robots that turn into cars and trucks and airplanes. How cool is that? And they're fighting each other. Like that's just cool. So it doesn't matter if it's the Bayverse or animated or Prime or G1 or Beast Wars. Well, for Beast Wars, it's turning into animals, but it's robots fighting each other, which is cool. So if you're 5 years old and you see robots fighting each other, you're going to be like, cool. You're 20 years old and you see robots fighting each other, you're going to be like, cool. So the very concept of Transformers is just awesome. It's a matter of you start seeing other stories and you're like, oh, I like this one better. Transformers for everybody. Exactly. I thought that what if at the end of the movie Autobots arrive, there were Decepticons, we see end credits. That would be kind of neat. We'll see. We'll see where they go with it. I've never seen Owl House. I've never watched Our House. Don't lose faith. You sound like Jake. We'll see. We'll see. Awesome. Yeah. And if you watch my G1 retrospective video, it tells you the proper chronological order if you're watching it on YouTube or if you're watching it on Tubi and you're trying to figure out the proper chronological order of the episodes. I give a pretty good list. As far as the G1 cartoon is concerned, G2 was just literally G1 reruns. So collected all the way up until Action Masters. Yeah, and that is the end of G1 in the US. So Action Masters was the real end, yeah. So I'm just 50 years Transformers TMNT will yeah, absolutely. My you know it's funny too because I've shown my kids Ninja Turtles and they like the video games and they like the intro to the 80s cartoon. But we watched we went to go see the Super Mario Brothers movie again this week. And they showed the new Ninja Turtles trailer. And they didn't like it. They did not like it at all. My wife was like, I don't like this animation style. It looks terrible. It just doesn't look good. Kind of goes to show you, like, you know, you're not hitting that target demographic. My kids were just not into it. It didn't do BotBots. BotBots, think of it as its own self-contained thing. It's just supposed to be fun. Don't think too much about it. It's just a self-contained, fun. They actually turn into the things that they transform into. Like Burgertron actually turns into bread, meat, and cheese. Yeah, I love Transformers as a whole. I'm making a series where I review every episode of G1. So far, more than meets the parts 1 to 3. Honestly, I loved it. As someone who grew up with a lot of other Transformers show, G1, it is. It's just something special. Is it me the beginning of Superman's story and leaving Earth the same thing about planet getting destroyed? Earth. Well, Thundercats and Transformers kind of that same thing. You're leaving your home world and going somewhere else. It's not an original story even for Superman, because if you think about it, Superman draws a lot from the creators, who the creators were Jewish. And if you go with Jewish, like leaving your hometown and going somewhere that you don't know is something even go back as far as Abraham. So just based like like if you think about the origins of storytelling, you can say nothing is new under the sun, but everything is new when you create something new. So like for Transformers back in the 80s, Thundercats, Ninja Turtles, all this stuff has something that someone knew already and created a new story with something they already knew. Ninja Turtles drew from Daredevil comics. Why do you know, Splinter is named Splinter because he teaches the Turtles, whereas Stick taught Daredevil. Daredevil fought the hand. The Ninja Turtles fought the foot. So, yeah. Can hear me through the kids' bedrooms. Oh no, it's my wife. I'm a little loud. So I like Armada Starscream. Sometimes I wish he was a different character. And sometimes I do wish he was a different character to make him stand out. Starscream's Brigade is a great episode. Great episode for sure. I thought a story about how when Starscream was about to throw Megatron Soundwave, stops him, so Starscream kicks him out and recreated Sound Blaster. No, there wasn't a story like that. For me, when I went to G1, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, or Armada Prime, didn't get to see, and they never showed it on Cartoon Network. Well, you can watch it now on Tubi if you want to see Energon and Cybertron. It's going to be rough. Energon is rough. Really rough to watch. One thing I'm wondering about is Rise of the Beasts. Is Optimus Prime having the Matrix? Does he have it? He should have it. I think that they're probably going to... I wonder what they're going to do in this movie. I really, really wonder what they're going to do in this movie. Yeah, New Ninja Turtles was not doing it for you either. I have not seen Guardians 3. So I saw a comment earlier. It was asking me about Marvel and my opinion on Marvel. Am I still done with Star Wars and Marvel? Well, after Endgame, I really felt like that was the ending to the story completely. But I've heard that I saw No Way Home, and I hated the ending in a way because it felt like it was a retelling of um what was the name of that story? A Brand New Day, which I wasn't a fan of with Spider-Man. Um, but I hear that Guardians 3 is good as a standalone film separate from the rest of the MCU. And so I've heard like mixed reviews about it. And I kind of want to see it, as like a last hurrah, because I have not seen much of phase 4. Like a lot of what I've seen of phase 4, I did not like. So you had to pass on them. I actually have them. Right. My kids play with Armada Starscream quite a bit, so he gets beat up a lot. My son will come in here and he'll play with some of my Transformers, so that's why I have some of them there, so this way he can play with them, and he enjoys it. It's great. Like I'll have him play with some of the ones here on the desk there, and I don't mind it because these aren't figures that I mind getting beat up. Now, if it's the stuff that's on the shelf, I say, don't mess up what's on the shelves. But I'll let him play with Armada Starscream as much as he wants. And figure is a good figure. I think so. I think it's a good figure. I'm partial to G1 Starscream. So, but you can kind of tell, like, my son has been messing with him. But he's a good figure. He is a good figure. Needs the Toy Hacks labels. Definitely. No, I haven't had to worry about that with my son. My daughter will gravitates towards a girl figure. My son just gravitates towards what's cool. The one that he grabs the most is my Transmetal Legacy Megatron. I love that figure. Legacy Transmetal 2 Megatron that turns into a dragon is a phenomenal figure. If I can't recommend one to you, like, get that figure. Absolutely get that figure. So, and I'm very, very careful with my kids. My kids love to watch Transformers with me. They were running around the house today yelling, Kremzeek, 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 because we just watched that episode yesterday. So, interesting thing about Megatron. What I love about animated Megatron is that it's G1 Megatron done with a helicopter alt mode, and it's so awesome. So I thought about this. I'm like, why don't we get a make Megatron like an animated Megatron with a little bit more G1 to him, but still turns into that animated helicopter with the swords and everything. That would please the G1 fan, and that would please, but fans would want the Armada, would want the animated to look more accurate. But the animated figure's out there, you can get it. It's a great figure, and it's massive and it's big. But yeah, Kremzeek has untapped potential. I think if you use I don't know if it's still available in places. I like Gun Megatron, and I'll tell you why. It is the most psychological thing. So get this. Idea behind why Megatron's gun mode is practical. So the gun mode is a disguise. So he can turn into a gun and can be carried by somebody else. So if a human who is under Decepticon control can break into or have access to a well-guarded facility, let's say, as that happened in the Marvel comics, then Megatron can be used to get in. Then there's the episode it was Day of the Machines, where Soundwave and Megatron actually made their way in their alternate modes. They got snuck into a base, And then the two of them were able to break in and do what they did. But then there is the psychological aspect of Megatron's gun mode. In gun mode, he's more powerful. So when he shrinks down into gun mode size and Soundwave or Starscream goes to use him, they can just point him in the right direction and have him fire. But then the reason why they don't in turn on him, number one, he can actually let go and transform back. And he can kind of fly on his own a little bit if he wanted to in gun mode, and he has kind of done so before. And even in the G2 comics, Megatron actually did that in gun mode. He was flying around in gun mode and aiming and shooting at a Cobra base, but he was badly damaged, so he got rebuilt into Tank Megatron. Well, in gun mode, if a Starscream or Soundwave use him, it's a more powerful blast. Now, think about this. In the episode Autobot Spike, he says, "Use my power." It makes you think for a second there. Use my power to destroy them. Use my power I'm giving you power. So what Megatron has done is that he is leader of the Decepticons. They follow him with an iron fist. So he'll backhand them. The Decepticons are hungry for power. So now they're looking at it as, I get to, because I'm the most trustworthy big bad Decepticon, I get to use Megatron in gun mode. I'm the most powerful Decepticon there is because I get to use Megatron. So any Decepticon gets to thinks that, oh my gosh, I'm the most powerful. So Starscream, it gets to his head, and then he thinks he can rule. That's why the Megatron Starscream dynamic works so well. But then, in the episode More Than Meets Ultimate Doom Part 3, he jumps up in the air and he fires on his own. In the intro to every G1 Season 1 episode, you see him fly up in the air and transform into gun mode and shoot. And then in the comics, he actually turns into a human-sized gun. So, he had the issue where the bombshell put a Cerebro shell into the back of a human, and then Megatron in gun mode he carried Megatron in gun mode into the dam facility and took over with Megatron in gun mode, being controlled by Bombshell. So that happened in the Marvel Comics. Also, there was the episode where Megatron was damaged. So he actually was used in a crime spree in issue 13. So gun mode Megas works in the 80s because gun control politics, like it or hated it, fit the times. This is true. What intro do I like better? That's a tough call. Music wise, I like season 1's music a little bit better because it's, at least on as far as like the DVDs, they're a little bit higher, the music itself. But I love how there's so many robots in the season 2 intro. But both of them I like equally. So I like season 3 as well, like the music. So season 4, season 3, season 4. What do I think of Prime Ultra Magnus? He's not Optimus Prime. I like, he was kind of like your Prowl stand-in in a way. Like the way that they made his character feel like it was basically Prowl. Like, late Marvel G1 Prowl with that, like, everything by the book. Season 3, season 2 is epic. I love season 3 because it has so many characters in it. Season 4 as well, but it's all commercials. I mean, basically when Megatron ripped through Brawn, yeah, that's fully powered Megatron with the Decepticons dominant. Here's another thing to think about. So Megatron achieved his goals in season 1 and 2 and in the movie. He conquered Cybertron. His last act was to eliminate the Autobots on Earth. He had conquered Cybertron because throughout season 1 and 2, all he was doing was gaining energy and sending it back to Cybertron. Gaining energy and sending it back to Cybertron. Who was in control of the Decepticons on Cybertron? Shockwave. Shockwave was already there, prepared to take over Cybertron, getting prepared, and all he needed was Energon to do it. And so, Optimus was trying to stop the Decepticons throughout season 1 and 2, but Megatron basically achieved that goal. And, because the two of them were basically, the two factions were fighting to a standstill. But, gotta love the driving beat of season 2's 3 and 4 openings. Yeah. I love season 2's intro with season 3's music. When season 2 had reruns in 1986, after season 3 had already aired, or actually, when season 3 had already aired, they were doing season 2 reruns with season 3 music. That was awesome. Have I played the game? I've only seen cutscenes of it. I've not played the game itself. So, season 4. Well, season 4 was a mishmash of season 3 and commercials. So, why have we gotten no G1 Prime from Studio Series? I think they're waiting for the 40th anniversary. 40th anniversary is next year. I love season 3's music. Exactly. Yeah. Elita 1 was leader of her own squad of Autobots. Ultra Magnus, I think, was probably leader of his own squad of Autobots, on Cybertron. That's why in Ultimate Doom, he says we still have friends that live there. Didn't speak Japanese, English or Japanese, so it made it extra hard. Oh, play the game when you were 6. Okay. I don't know what your primary language is, Fire Brothers. Mm-hmm. All the way through. All the way through. Right there on my desk. What do I think about Transformers Star Drive? I've not gotten much information about that yet. So I'll find out more when more information on that becomes available. Oh, the Omni dub. Yeah. Gosh, the Omni dub. Oh my gosh, the Omni dub. Let's see. Yeah. Billy. So yeah, the Headmasters anime, the season, like it's the Japanese season 4 of G1, was dubbed into English for Australian markets, I think. It's awful. It's awful. It is awful. Why not have someone create an actual concept of Rodimus Prime? I'm a Rodimus Prime fan, and I'm fine with just being called Rodimus Primal. Like I like using him as my avatar. Oh, speaking of which, this Tuesday, Sixo is actually going to be presenting something with RoboSen. for Hasbro. And I think they're doing something the following week. I wonder if that's when we're going to see Dying Prowl during those 2 weeks, which was, yeah, that English dub is painful. It is hilariously painful. I love the jet form of Elita 1. I get it. Yeah, to a degree, I can understand that. I don't. I really like her as a car. So Black Arachnia and Tarantulas would be fun to see. I did a Black Arachnia retrospective. I have not done a Tarantulas one yet, but I will. What do I know about the live action suit? Oh, yeah. Let's actually bring that up because I did have that image. Let's actually bring that up. And that's him right there with the exosuit. So Noah gets the exosuit there, and it looks like Mirage. It's kind of like it is pretty cool. I do think it's kind of cool. So yeah, can we get a regular Prowl for those of us who like him living? I know fans are going to ask that. Like I don't just want to buy a Prowl just because he's dying. I would get both if they offered both, but just give him the Transformers Prime Star Saber. Well, he does have the Sword of Primus. So that Rodimus Prime figure does come with the Sword of Primus like he had in the Regeneration 1 comics, which is a sequel to the G1 Marvel comics, the US run. So, which Bay movies besides Bumblebees do you hate? Okay. So if I was to say Bumblebee is I think is the best live action Transformers film from an old school fan's perspective. That first film was pretty good. It could still stand up in a lot of ways. And I would say Dark of the Moon. The action in Revenge of the Fallen is good, but the storyline just falls apart for me. Age of Extinction and The Last Night are just a mess. Theory on the Preds. We'll see them in Animal Planet with Maximals. Unicron comes and destroys the planet. Megatron and the Preds are killed in the process, except for Scorpion. I think they're going to be a mind-controlled army being sent to fight against the Maximals and the Autobots. Dream car is 1988 Lamborghini and put an Autobot logo on. Ooh, that would be cool. We don't get to see what he looks like yet. It's the listing for him is there. Thoughts on Kicker Jones? His character is annoying, really annoying. So those of you who know, when I did my Prowl retrospective, I went back and I was watching a lot of Energon around the episodes that Prowl is introduced, shows up, and all that. Man, Kicker was annoying. So annoying. And also, there are a few episodes in Armada that the animation makes G1's worst animation errors look great. I know some people really love the Unicron trilogy, so when they hear me talking bad about it, they get really testy. But look at the animation errors in those episodes. If I was G1 Prowl shouting, "Your gun does not do that much damage to me." What is the Sword of Primus exactly? It is a mystical conduit to Primus himself. Because the matrix that Rodimus gets in that continuity, upgrades him to Rodimus Prime, but he basically gains a weapon to use as a warrior or Primus, as the new Prime with the sword. So it was really, really cool. So that Sword of Primus is pretty kick-ass. Seeing that suit, Marissa, yeah, Marissa Fairborn. There you go. You know, bring in some Duke's daughter, or not Duke, Flint's daughter. Since the Tia franchise loves involving humans, do you think we'll see the Power Master concept? I wonder if Noah is that. Speaking of Noah reminds me of Raul and the Bop Crew and Tracks. Go watch the G1 episodes, Make Tracks, followed by Autobop. And those two episodes are linked because Raul is in both of them. The only thing that stinks is that one animation studio did the episode Make Tracks, and so the animation isn't up to par on that one. And Toei did the animation for Autobop, so the colors on Raul are off. So that's just kind of like a known thing. Titan class Dinobots. No, I think they work in the class that they work with the Studio Series 86. But then again, I know some people probably want the movie ones. No, I didn't like Unicron Trilogy. It felt weird and messy. I just fell asleep watching Energon. Raul and Trax spinoff, please. Yeah. Yeah. Raul was a great character. Think Wheeljack's head might be severely damaged by a Decepticon. That's a possibility. I think it's a different character. I just think it's a different character. I think they didn't even consider him to be the same bot that we saw in the Bumblebee movie, and that's just it. And that's just how I'm gonna view it. I'm gonna say it's a second Wheeljack 2, if you will, or Wheeljack Junior. There you go, Wheeljack Junior. After Swoop, Slash, yes. Paddles, I don't see a point to Paddles because it's kind of like he's stuck in dinosaur mode. He's not very mobile. Can only be in water situations like Sea Spray. But Sea Spray can actually ride on land because a Plesiosaur is just not gonna. And not only that, but I still don't like the what is it? I like the idea that Grimlock starts with G and all the other Dinobots start with S. So, you know, Slag, Sludge, Snarl, Swoop. Then you've now added Scowl and Snarl, or Scowl and Slash, you know, as new names. But then you're going to add another one called Paddles. Like, Pablo is basically the younger version of Dark of the Moon Q. Kind of. The 90s babies, they're going to say Beast Wars and Armada are the ones that got them into Transform. That's fine. Here's the thing. Like, you could start with Transformers at any time. But when you go back and Scar, there you go, Scar. When you go back and you watch some of the other Transformers series, you start to realize, especially G1 and Beast Wars, why they're so revered by older fans. Like, you start to understand, like, hey, why is the G1 fans so adamant about G1? Like, what is it about G1? Like, I really wish that Bay fans, Prime fans, animated fans, Unicron Trilogy fans would just go back and watch G1 from the perspective of there is a generation that absolutely loves it. Why do they love it? Let me figure that out. Like, that's from the mindset that I would like them to go into those series with. You know, I can watch any Transformers cartoon without, you know, found out that Earthspark's episode count is yeah, they are going 26 episodes. Dinobot names. Yeah, Now go back and watch the original and see what it is that we enjoyed. You know, as a live action Bay fan, I got to admit, some scenes haven't aged the best. Yeah, and you know something, G1 fans will say the same thing. We know that there are animation errors in G1. We know that they miscolored a seeker in an episode. We know that they put the wrong faction symbol on a robot. We know about that stuff. And it's not that we don't like acknowledge it. It's that we understand that it was a mistake. And unlike the Bay films, the G1 cartoon had a very, 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 very tight work schedule. So I'll give an example. The very first episodes of the cartoon, you know, More Than Meets the Eye, parts 1, 2, and 3, aired in September of 1984. The next episode, Transport to Oblivion, aired in October. Those 3 episodes were written, let's say, in March of 84, or were finished in March of 84. And they were preparing the animation, and that's why the animation is holds up really well. But Transport to Oblivion was written in June, end of June, July of 84. And it was hand-drawn animation, drawn and made for a 30-minute episode. And it aired in October of 84. That includes special effects. That includes the voice cast. And that was all produced in America. And that all got sent to Japan to Toei Animation, who also animates Dragon Ball, by the way. And they animate the episode and then send it back to America completed. And then the American studio has to assemble it, put it together, and figure out what goes what parts they need to cut. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, we found an animation mistake. Guys, this thing has to air in 2 weeks. It has to air in a week. We don't have time. We need to just get the tapes out to the get the tapes out to the TV stations. And they had to make their copies from their master tape and send it out to the TV stations so it could air in October. So that's how quickly G1 was made. And people look at it and they don't realize that the animation mistakes was all because that schedule was just tight, really tight. But the Bay films, they started working on the first live action Transformers film in 2005, I would say the tail end of 2004, 2005-ish. And it was greenlit because originally they wanted to do a G.I. Joe film. And then they got told, you know, G.I. Joe right now, because we got the war happening right now with America and the Middle East, we really don't want to see G.I. Joe as a live action film right now. So why don't we do Transformers? Transformers is doing gangbusters right now because of the Unicron trilogy. Okay, let's do Transformers. Okay, here's what our Transformers are going to look like. You know, they started figuring out what G1 Transformers they're gonna figure out. The Unicron trilogy can have the kids, but the movies will be about G1. Then they brought in Michael Bay, and then he changed everything. And that's where the first movie, like all the changes that were made. And then, of course, Steven Spielberg had his say on certain things, and, you know, all these certain things happened. Yeah, here we go. G1 is really good. Growing up with animated Prime, G1 is really joyful to heart, not to be taken real seriously like Prime. Seeing how the characters evolve, I felt like I was in the 80s. It's a great show. Like, that's the thing. Like, the writing in G1 holds up really well. Yeah, 2005 is how soon. Like, it took them like almost 3 years. So what's your favorite episode? What was that? Oh, Secret of Omega Supreme. That's actually next on my my daughter's list of episodes to watch. So she saw Kremzik first. I should have actually went to Secret of Omega Supreme, but Secret of Omega Supreme is next. for my daughter to my kids to watch. So, and by that point, I still have to open up my Omega Supreme, which I'm going to review. I'm actually, you know what? I think that's probably going to be one of the things I should review, sometime soon. Let's not forget, yeah, he despised the G1 source material. That is true. But here's the thing. I mean, he knew how to film the action in the way that it was. He knew how to make vehicles look great filming. And he was great with cameras. He was great with explosions, great with bombs. But he needed someone to rein him in a little bit. Like, good dude, you want to do all these explosions, great, but man, some of the Transformers fans, they have to see their favorite characters look like their favorite characters. And the storyline and the writers too. Now, also mind you that the two writers for the first two live action Transformers film went ahead and did the Kelvin's timeline for Star Trek. Not many people like that the new timeline for Star Trek. G1 episodes are very similar. Yeah, I could see that a little bit. One of my favorite moments in the Bumblebee movie was seeing Bumblebee and Optimus Prime in truck mode riding on the Golden Gate Bridge. I was like, that truck, that's all I wanted to see. I wanted to see that in in live action. I wanted to see Optimus Prime with the trailer, the old fashioned truck and everything. Like, I wanted to see that. That to me was just like, oh, that was just so good. The Kelvin timeline, they call it. I don't know why they call it the Kelvin timeline. Basically, what happened is that the Star Trek movie that came out, oh my gosh, is it 10 years now? How long ago was it? Old Spock and the Romulans time traveled back to the day of Captain Kirk's birth, and they kill Captain Kirk's father, and that changes the timeline. And they destroyed the planet Vulcan. So yeah, 2009. There you go, 2009. And in doing so, a lot of people believed it ruined the original series. Ah, yeah. You never see, Toho is like Nintendo. Toho is very protective of Godzilla. So, yep, Blaster went from an annoying music buff who didn't treat things seriously to commander of Autobots. Exactly. Yep. There was growth in the Autobots. And that's the thing also. In G1, every episode in and of itself is a self-contained story. But there is continuity between episodes. What do I mean by that? In the search for Alpha Trion, you learn that Alpha Trion was the one who basically had rebuilt Optimus Prime. And then in the key to Vector Sigma, remember, I created you, Optimus. There is that. Now you've already had that connection. Wardon is another, and this is all in season 2. They go back in time, and you actually get to learn how the aerial bots were responsible for bringing the young and dying Orion Pax to Alpha Trion to get rebuilt into Optimus Prime. Then in season 3, Rodimus Prime sends a crew, and they actually time travel back to when the Quintessons had controlled Cybertron, and Alpha Trion was the resistance leader who had led the early Autobots to expelling the Quintessons off of Cybertron. So you learn about all this history throughout the episodes, but each story in and of itself is self-contained. And I think that was, it was also for the time, because one of the things about the show back then was that it was syndicated. So it was Monday through Friday. It would air, let's say 3:30 or 4:30. You come home from school and you're going to watch it. But the next day, you might have soccer practice, or you might have band practice, or you might have, school play practice, and you miss an episode. Well, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss it in a sense that you missed all this storytelling, but the next episode that you see might just be like, okay, another Transformer story. Because you were also watching He-Man and Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and all. Well, Ninja Turtles didn't come out till 80, until after G1 ended. But you get what I mean? Like all these cartoons would come out around the time because that was the you were watching it all. But you would come home from school and you do your homework, or you're playing with your friends, but you would come home and you watch some of this, the afternoon cartoons, or you wake up Saturday morning to go watch the other Saturday morning cartoons. Like that was just childhood there. So the episodes were known that you got a complete story, unless it was a two-parter. Then the two-parter was, I can't miss tomorrow's episode. We have to get the VCR out and record it. So, lithograph, nice. Unicron should have built Trypticon instead of him coming out of, it's possible. The Simon Furman run was legendary. There are some characters I think he did really well, and some characters I was like, depend. And also, really, it's like his late G1 Marvel, early IDW that he did was, his early IDW stuff was good. But I hated what he did with certain characters. So, yeah. yeah, because you didn't want to miss it. That was 5 episodes, and it was like an epic grand scale story that you were waiting each day for each episode. And, you'd get to the end of it, and it's like, we're getting how many episodes is this, right? But then again, we were also kind of attuned to it because some shows had those 5-part, like it was a 5-part season. Like the first season of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was like 5 Faces of Darkness. It's 5 episodes. It's one story told over 5 episodes. It's basically a movie on TV told in the form of 5 digestible little 30-minute chunks with commercial breaks, of course. Oh gosh, God, you need to see more than that. You need to see more than that. Terror. I don't know how much New Zealand dollars is, but thank you very much. Been enjoying my retrospectives for a while. First time caught you live. Want to show. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. And for that, we're going to kick it old school with this one here.
Stop! Let go of my dad! Snoop Dogg!
Some old school there for you. So didn't David Wise write both? Yes. He wrote the first 5-parter for Ninja Turtles. And he also wrote a few episodes of G1. The funny thing about David Wise is that he had a few stories that he would tell, and it was the same exact story. Now, here's something to know about storytelling, and because I took a course, but with like Flint Dilley was actually a good teacher. I actually took a course from Flint Dilley, learning some writing skills. Sometimes you'll tell the same story twice, but the same story might be told twice with completely different characters. What do I mean by that? Well, you're retelling a story. One episode of Transformers and one episode of Ninja Turtles might be the exact same story, but the way that Optimus Prime behaves is going to be different than the way that Leonardo would behave. So what's the difference between the storyline, the dialogue, and how they react and how they adapt and how they take action? how does Optimus Prime handle this situation this way? Well, Leonardo would handle it this way, even though they're both the leader. You know, Bumblebee is going to handle this differently than, Michelangelo would. Wheeljack is going to do something different than Donatello. And they might be in that, the same story. It's not this, I mean, it's not the same exact, but I mean, like Shredder might be doing something and creating something, and then Megatron might be doing something and creating something. And how would the Autobots react if Megatron did the same exact thing that Shredder did? You get what I mean? And that's the way that like David Wise would do sometimes of some of his storytelling, but you wouldn't know it because you're just watching a Ninja Turtles episode and they're trying to stop Shredder from doing something. The Autobots are just trying to stop Megatron from doing something. There's a reason behind that. A lot of people don't quite grasp why he kept Starscream around. I think that the reason he kept Starscream around, I mean, obviously there was the banter between the two characters. That was great for storytelling. But also, he kept Starscream around because it was as if he was, Starscream's a capable field commander, but also, you keep your enemies close, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But also, if something were to happen to Megatron, Starscream could take command if he is taught by Megatron to be as good as Megatron. You always want to make sure that if you're leading an army, you want to make sure you have somebody that you have, that's your second in command, that that eventually, even if you think that you'll never ever not have that happen to you, like that is kind of like the reason behind it. So it keeps his friends close and enemies closer, and because he was the air commander of the Seekers. So why do Viacons be just the first episode, but is weak in other episodes? Oh, and Transformers Prime, because they realized that they needed cannon fodder to die. So yeah, Shockwave had a different role, and it depends upon which if you're following the cartoon or the comic book. Like in the comics, Starscream never got that much, power up until the Underbase saga. Then he kills everybody. But Starscream was kind of like, he was just leader of a squad of jets that Megatron would send out. But Shockwave and Megatron had their squabble about who was second in command or who was the leader. So, but in the comic, in the cartoon, it was different. So Starscream is a lot more capable than people give him credit. Yeah, like there's not like, the two of them don't like they need each other in a way. Because Starscream is the threat that he knows versus it's the threat that you know versus the threat that you do not know. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Remember Gary the Viacon? Poor Cliffjumper. It's always the recent years, right? Because he didn't die in G1. He didn't die in G1. I like the fact that Starscream and Jetfire, or Skyfire or Scientist. Jetfire is a different character in my eyes. So yeah, I guess. Well, they're Predacons. They're Predacons in the in Rise of the Beast. Why is it Transit? Because Transit's a new character. It's a Decepticon, and he's a Metrobus. And if you've ever been on a Metrobus, it's a Decepticon. Good parallel for Starscream is Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. That is a good one. That's my best Kefka laugh. Well, I've been on for 2 hours. Jeez. Thank you so much for those who have given super chats and gifted memberships to each other. Really appreciated that. But we needed a bus transformer. Yeah, yeah. Like that was something I was like back in G1. I was like, why didn't we get a bus or a taxi? You know, especially since like, I mean, I grew, I mean, I was born in New York and eventually grew up in New Jersey. And then my dad still worked in New York. And so like we're always in New York all the time. So like it wasn't like not common to get on a bus or a subway or or something like that. So those of you who want to see different characters, I know some of you probably want to know what retrospectives are coming. I talked about this to my patrons and my channel members. But I got a few characters that I want to do. I've got a few. He did have an army of taxis. That is true. City of Steel. He did take over New York. Don't you remember that happening in the 1980s? Don't you remember when the Empire State Building just like went under the ground? Moved from Staten Island to Brick. No kidding. How long were you living in Brick? I lived in I was actually like Brick was where I moved out of in New Jersey. I graduated high school in Toms River. So Melvor, do Kremzeek. I should do a retrospective on Kremzeek. Kremzeek! Kremzeek! Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, the Transformers. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, dun 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 dun. And that was my house in Brick. But yeah, no, so you're 43 now. You graduated Brick in high school, and yeah, now there's 2 high schools in Brick. So there was 3 in Toms River. I graduated in 2000. But other characters, yeah, Kremzeek, the worst. My kids were running around the house today saying, Kremzeek, Kremzeek, Kremzeek. No kidding. No kidding. Yeah, we probably do know some of the same people. That is true. I see some of you say you lived in, Brick and still live in Brick. I was going to a church on Brick Boulevard that looks like a storefront. That's where I was going to church up until I left. Till I left New Jersey. Now I'm in Florida. Now I'm in Central Florida. Dead-eyeing that Earthrise. Well, my daughter is excited because she gets to hold on to certain figures. Carnage and see. Okay. Well, yeah, the animation mistakes in Kremzeek are pretty bad. Yeah, I will say that. There are some pretty bad Oh, okay. Cool. I yeah, probably going shopping with my family or whatever. Could never find anything at brick Walmart. Gosh, that was the worst Walmart. Awful Walmart. Nothing against the people there, just they never stocked anything. I'll visit another state, but currently right now, like all depends. Good question. I mean, storyline wise, BOT is pretty bad. Carnage in C minor has got some pretty bad animation errors, but the storyline itself is actually pretty decent. Child's Play is one that I don't care for, and my daughter actually really liked Child's Play. Yeah, exactly. I didn't get much stock. Florida is not too bad. It's not too bad. Here's the thing, though, is that like stock in stores has been pretty awful in general, and I've been buying a lot of stuff. Like like whenever you guys buy stuff through the Entertainment Earth or Amazon affiliate links, I'm able to actually like that's how I'm able to afford to get my Transformers. So like I've just been ordering stuff from there from Entertainment Earth. That's not really a sad death. It's just a big giant creature. Will I do an Omnibot? I I probably should. I probably should. I get a lot of people asking about that one. You know what it is about Child's Play? I don't know. Like it just, I don't know. I wasn't an episode that I cared for myself personally, but that's just me. You know. Um, don't understand the hate for BOT. I think it's because it's all about these three kids that like. Why are they like the main focus of this episode? Never understood the hate for BOT. And that's the thing, though. The ending with the Combaticons and the Protectobots was always cool. First time seeing Defensor combine, and it's the last bit of season 2. Yeah, yeah. That well, Toei had their fair share of animation mistakes. You know, that's funny. That's funny. BOT probably has the best swindle content. That is true. That is true. So it's So everybody lampoons BOT, not realizing that everybody gets the time for Defensor, time for the Protectobots, swindle being swindle. That we all love. Ultimate Weapon also had a good swindle being swindle too. Yes. So I was actually thinking, since the new Nemesis is coming out, of doing a quickie retrospective, maybe on the Nemesis, and just talk about it and mention the arc in it, and then maybe come back and do the arc at another time, just so that like, because right now the next big thing is Rise of the Beasts. So if Rise of the Beast is the next big thing, yeah, I don't really, it can't really, like, it's hard to make Scramble City part of canon, and actually work. But I mean, the Japanese make it work, but still, it's funny. It's like there are episodes that everybody lampoons, and then you have a bunch of people all going, I love that episode. You see how like weird like G1 is? Like G1 has that where it's one episode and it's a complete story, and some people love it and some people hate it, and then the next episode they absolutely most people adore. But anyway, so back to my point. The if I do, if I do the Nemesis, I don't know if there's a lot of meat on the bone, to make a good retrospective. It would be a pretty short one. So, I mean, I could talk about the Nemesis showing up in Beast Wars, how it shows up in the episode Microbots. You don't really, I think you see it later in the UK comics. I could be wrong. Gotta remember. Yeah, it's just it's a like I can see why people love it, but it's just weird for some reason. And I think, I don't know. I can't find Prowl's brain comported. I didn't think it would matter. I love that line. Absolutely love that line. Oh man. Yeah, if the story was tweaked. Well, the one thing is, I would love to see it tweaked where we get the explanation that maybe the Victory, the very starship that it became the um base for the Decepticons during season 1 and season 2, maybe got rebuilt into the first body of Tripticon, but then got blown up by Metroplex. That might be something kind of neat. Nothing wrong with doing bite-sized retrospectives. Yeah, retrospective shorts, interesting. Because you guys know I do go into heavy, heavy, heavy detail on these characters. And so I want to see a Nemesis in live action. So of course I want G1 design. Exactly. They can't do that in the films, because in the films they all come to Earth on, by turning into either riding in pods or transforming into pods. So all depending upon continuity, how they want to handle it. Yeah, Scramble City is kind of a tough. Okay, so here's my hot take on Face of the Ninja and why I think it is actually not that bad of an episode. Imagine if they did a US season 4, season 5, have Optimus become Power Master, have Hot Rod become Rodimus again. Imagine they revisit the planet where the Face of Ninja took place. And because of what happened in that episode, a new spark of life was created. And because now they have the power of the stars in their mind, they give that spark of life that is created a new body because of its connection, of Ninja's connection to Perceptor. So basically, Perceptor is Ninja's father in a way. A new spark of life is created, and it's Windblade. So G1 cartoon Windblade canon for my own head canon. Imagine if they actually continue that and added Windblade to the G1 cartoon. That would be kind of cool. It was a big thing. Here's the weird thing. I did not cry. I was upset, but I did not cry. I think I had already learned how to deal with death because not soon prior to the movie, my grandmother died on my father's side. So, I guess I didn't have the same reaction that some others did. And I also really fell in love with Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime. So, just the character, like that young, brash character becomes the new hero. Always loved the idea behind that storyline. So, where was the thing? Oh, yeah. People want to know what happened to Chip Chase. Depends upon continuity, but in Japanese continuity, he actually gave up his life to give birth to a new Prowl in the Binaltech storyline. So that's too good of an idea, Rodimus. I don't think they can come up with something that good anymore. See, like, I think of these things. Like, I think of how you can work something into, like, present day, present day G1. Like, imagine something can happen in 2023, 2024, 2025 in US G1 continuity. Here is an idea that I've had cooking in my mind for a little while as a storyline that could bring back the characters that died in the movie. Hear me out. So the characters that died in the movie, their bodies got burned alive, right? in Dark Awakening. Well, what if the Quintessons, when they raided the mausoleum, actually took all the bodies out? And that's the reason why you see that one body like that doesn't look like any Autobot that you know in Dark Awakening fall out, is because it's actually a dead Sharkticon. Some of the Sharkticons got killed by the Autobots from all their battles, and they decide to just fill the mausoleum full of the dead Sharkticon bodies, except for Optimus, and they decide to use the bodies of the dead Autobots as new zombies to come back with a little fighting force. But Optimus and Rodimus team up and use the power of the Matrix between the two of them to restore the G1 bots. Just saying, could always work. How much money do you think that cost? I mean, how much? What was the budget for Revenge of the Fallen? Based on opinion, Zamagen is an underrated alien species. Yeah, and here's my fan theory. The reason why it's a spark of life is because I believe it's called the Katsudin or whatever, or the Zamagen or whatever, the actual like temple. What if that is Caminus? The Titan Caminus didn't create new Transformers, but new life actually sprung forth, organic life sprung forth from the power that was. I'm just like throwing these ideas out, Cure for Megatron. Yeah, that'd be cool. A rocket launcher or an artillery cannon. A tank works too, but I mean, an artillery cannon. I do think to keep the classic G1 design, a helicopter works too. Hear me out too, because with a helicopter mode, he can also flip over and become a handgun. Like you could work the helicopter mode into a handgun if you really thought about it, because the whole tail section could fold in on itself and actually become the gun mode for Megatron. Like he could actually be a triple changer. Trax is not a true triple changer. Yeah, he's not a true triple changer because it's just basically a fold out flight mode for his car mode. Like it's part of his car mode. It's kind of like the Autobots when their guns kind of fold out in car mode. It's not real. It's not a third mode. It's just an attack mode. So to me, a true triple changer is 3 distinct modes. So Blitzwing becomes a tank, Blitzwing becomes a jet, and it's 2 distinct alternate modes in addition to their robot mode. So what characters do I think? I think all the villains are going to die. That's just how I look at it, except for Unicron. I think Unicron is going to be the one who doesn't die at the end. So, and possibly Wheeljack and Airazor, but we'll see. Yeah, I could see those 2 characters dying. If I had to say that one of the Maximals could die, maybe Rhinox. Springer actually does become a helicopter and a rocket car. So they are more distinct in their triple changer modes. Like duo changers. Yep. Diaclone originally called duo changers. Yeah. That's the Binaltech storyline. And that's one I actually want to do a Prowl part 2 for eventually, and explain that. I could see that. I can kind of see that. G1 that takes place between 86 and 04, or a season that takes place in present day. The Decepticons have not been seen, but what happens is you start to see some storyline for the Decepticons and some present day storyline for the Autobots, and they start remembering things that happened. So there are episodes where they take place in the present. An episode takes place in the years between 84 and 05, or even could fill in the gaps. So a kind of like an anthology series that explains all the missing gaps between episodes and seasons. Like, where did this come from? Where did that come from? Until like the season is completed. And then once they get to the present day, have their big battle at the end. And then from there, the next season begins, and have your Autobots and Decepticons fighting each other in 2024, 2025. Like, that would be kind of cool. Why did Prime change his colors at the end of Armada? I think that he get like a power upgrade or something like that. I forgot exactly how that worked. I haven't seen the final episodes of Armada in a while. Some people have been thinking Unicron will be like Thanos of this trilogy. I think so too. I think Unicron is going to be the Thanos, and I think a true Galvatron is probably going to show up. Maybe they're going to bring Megatron back and then do Galvatron. And maybe my idea behind the whole well, you're going to go fix your sleep schedule. It is 12:15 here in on the Eastern time zone. So Unicron gave him that color scheme. Yeah. I think that legacy alternate universes would do Titans from like the Nemesis and Prime and Omega Supreme. Maybe. Animated should get a reboot. I think animated is good. Even I know some people really want a season 4 of animated, but I do think its ending works well as an ending, whereas G1 didn't feel like an ending, because both animated and G1 have something in common in that their endings for their shows didn't feel like endings. But animated, I think, felt more pretty much well contained. So, best idea concept. I like what they did with some of the new characters they introduced, even if some of the names might have had G1 uses. So Barricade, Blackout. I like what they did with those characters, even though they weren't really characters in the movie. Like, not even Barricade really felt more. He just was interrogating, and it sparked the interest in wanting to see a Prowl versus Barricade. And then of course another helicopter Decepticon is always cool. And of course we got Grindor, which is funny too, because like I think they use, is it Grindor? Yeah, they use Grindor in the ride. Transformers the Ride is like uses pretty much movie 1 and 2 as its backstory. So like there's Devastator and there's Bone Crusher and there's Sideswipe, and all those characters show up in season 1. I mean, in the Transformers Ride at Universal Studios. So if you ignore the Rebirth, no, it didn't feel like an ending, because Galvatron would not just, like, there would be no war today. Like, you have my respect, but there's no war today. I'll come back. In other words, I'll be back, kind of thing. They wouldn't just like leave Galvatron to go to his own nefarious deeds, and that's why both the Rebirth and the Headmasters anime continue with Galvatron leading an assault on Cybertron, or leading an assault on, on the Autobots. So Headmasters victory, or your season 4 through 6. I could see that. See, like even the Japanese version of Headmasters, really, I would like to see Headmasters local. If you really have to make this season 4, I'd like to see this localized. So proper dubbing, rework some of the episodes, maybe even have it take place after the rebirth. Try to figure out a way to cut some of the fluff in some of the middle episodes of Headmasters. And I'm not a fan of Six Shot turning Autobot, so but that's just me. And then Master Force, I don't know if like Master Force is like a really good non-Transformers cartoon that is a Transformers cartoon, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's over midnight. Yeah, so like happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who are watching. I know my wife is probably fallen asleep at this point. If I was to transform, since my name is Rodimus Primal, what would I transform into? A Griffin. Either that or a Phoenix. Would work with the whole Rodimus aesthetic. Why not? Why not? Why not? I've been wanting it since 1987. The Purple Griffin. A lot of people would have loved a continuation of G1, but I doubt that'll ever happen. Again, like this is where being a G1 fan is, as much as I am, it's kind of like one of those things where like I feel like it's a pipe dream now. Would I ever see a continuation of Generation 1 done with enough care and love from people who love Generation 1 to make sure that the characters, the storylines, the continuity makes sense, and to have it really truly feel like it is G1 but it's continuing on up until present day. I've been wanting that since 1987, and I know that'll, like, to me, I know that's something that will never happen. They did Regeneration 1 in 2012 for the comics, but they never did it for the cartoon. So, I would love to see it happen. And in 2007, I would have loved to have seen a G1 styled live action Transformers film. I know that's never going to happen. And it's kind of like where like you almost have to feel like it kind of you sit there and go like, are you being a defeatist? Like, I'm not a defeatist. It's just come to grips with like, I'm in my 40s now. It's like I would love to have it happen. It's a pipe dream, but give as many, give a lot of the old people a lot of credit for what they did and why we love it so much. Why do we love Generation 1 so much? I mean, in Beast Wars, why not root for a Headmaster's concept that utilizes all the ideas put forth by Takara? Well, that's kind of like the idea, the kind of the thought process is like, how would it work? Do you do what Buddy Yansky created in that there are Nebulans who are turned into Headmasters? Or do you go with the Japanese continuity where it's just the Transformer's head transforms into a smaller robot, or gun turns into a smaller robot? He-Man crossover. Well, that is something that well, Hasbro and Mattel, since they are doing crossovers, like with some of their toy lines, you never know. You never know. Yeah, I've wanted that for years, a G1 continuation. And now it's a pipe dream. So, Devastation was probably the closest that we'll get. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. And it was just basically like it was a wannabe season 2 episode, but had a lot of IDW like scrambled in there that doesn't make sense in G1 continuity. So, dude, 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 Philip Hall, man. Oh my gosh. 49.99, man. Woo! 49.99. Thank you so much for that super sticker. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow, I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, let's go for some old school for you right here.
Word. Let's take it back to the old school. Word. Let's take it back to the old school.
That's yeah, if it's $1984, right? Theory for the credit scene: Cybertron and Unicron makes a deal with Megatron. Maybe. I agree with the continuation of G1 cartoon. It's like Master of the Universe Revelation. Yeah. I mean, you have to have some, like, that's the thing though. You need, like, because so many people had a hard time with Masters of the Universe with its continuation. With G1, like with Transformers, you need somebody who really, really, really cares about the characters, the storyline, the backstory. And even if you get writers who just kind of want to tell good stories, you need somebody who is on board that knows this stuff backwards and forwards and is not going to screw it up or allow it to be screwed up. Like, this character wouldn't act this way. You need someone to do that. And someone who can bring ideas to the table. And so, like, that's something that you need if they're going to do a G1 continuation. Like, because I don't want to see them try to do a continuation. I don't want a sequel, a Disney trilogy of Star Wars brought to Transformers, if that makes sense. Yeah, leave the discussion for the Target Masters another day. That is one of my catchphrases. That is for sure. This is great. There's a lot of ways to do it. You can either do a series that actually takes place afterward, or you can do an anthology series that kind of like has episodes that kind of fills in the gaps. It all depends upon what you want to do, and it all depends upon how much budget you have for a show. Because how much money is Hasbro going to put forth, and how much money is whatever like studio who's going to do the animation going to bring forth? How much are they going to take to make something like that? Like Netflix, the person who was the two people who were in charge of bringing even bringing Kevin Smith in. Oh yeah, he was watching it after school in 1981 when the show aired in 83, right? Yeah. Right, and then Transformers aired in 84, right? So well, we have had toys. Where you have a Death Star that transforms into Darth Vader, and Millennium Falcon turns into two Transformers. It's basically a Micromaster combiner as a Chewbacca and Han. Man, way that they made Han go out. Force Awakens. Then they made Luke go out the way he did. Disney, what were you thinking? Anyway, Hasbro should do a G1 series of what happened between 86 and the movie. That would be cool. There's a lot of people who want to know what happened there. Sometimes time gaps are not necessarily needed for, like, full on 65 episode seasons, but you could tell the story between a bunch of different things that could happen in those years. So I hear you there. I hear you there. If we could figure out a way to sell Kevin's, uh, I don't know if he's a Transformers fan. I don't know if he's actually really that much of a Transformers fan. So yeah, the only sequel series they acknowledged is the Thrawn trilogy. There you go. Well, I don't want to. I don't want to steer off into Star Wars land because that would that would that could derail very quickly. But his tears are an infinite source. Oh gosh. Yeah, they had no plan. No plan. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Boy, did they fail spectacularly. They made money doing it too. Derail faster than the Astro train force. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's crazy. Like I've heard a lot of people. I've heard like I have my opinions on the Masters of the Universe Revelation, but I've heard some people actually liked it. The thing that I hated the most from those 10 episodes of the He-Man sequel was Evil Lynn basically getting away with what she did. Like, how do you just let her get away with it? Is it because I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to get into that right now. Yeah, that's true. Like Evil Lynn got away with murder. Straight up. And I wonder what was the reasoning behind that. I'm chilling. Yeah, that's the thing. It's been a fun chill stream. I've been on for almost 3 hours, like 2 hours and 45 minutes. I agree. I know a lot of people who love the Unicron trilogy. But I really feel that David Kay and Gary Chalk were really great as Optimus Primal and Beast Wars Megatron. But as Autobot Optimus and Decepticon Megatron, I think that their voices were better served, in other roles just because of I love their voices. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like David Kay is chill. So yeah, 2002 He-Man was good. Very, very good. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was 2002. Yeah, it was 2002. Ain't nothing like the old school, my friend. Although I like Power Master Optimus Prime with Apex armor, and then Super Megatron from Japanese manga. I don't know if I would. I don't. I don't want I don't necessarily I understand that we can get all of these different people to do voices for Transformers. But I would rather the best voice for the job who sounds like a really good Megatron. You got to give that got to have that booming voice with yeah, I agree. They were awesome reboots. I mean, nothing tops the original with both of them, but I mean, the 2002 He-Man and 2011 Thundercats were definitely enjoyable. See, that's the thing. Like David K is a great beast Megatron. Frank Welker like really encapsulates that evil Megatron from Generation One. So, um, it's funny you say that because I say it all the time that I actually liked animated better than Prime, and I think it's because there was a lot of really good storytelling in animated. Um, so like, and the thing is, I was very happy in Prime to have Welker and Cullen back, but it is what it is. But I like G1 a lot more than both. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, instead of celebrities, I don't like to have like Idris Elba as. I don't care if Idris Elba is. I keep, give give me some of the voice talented out there. I want to hear the best voice actor for the job. I want to hear, I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. You will do it's kind of hard to do it this late at night. But that's the kind of like I want that like that booming Megatron voice. You couldn't lead androids to a picnic. What makes you think you can pretend to lead the Decepticons? Like, you got to have that like that deep evil Megatron voice. And this scratchiness, I think, works so well with what Welker was able to bring to the table. David K brought such a conniving, planning Megatron that like that's why like Beast Megatron is so well. That is a better voice than you can do. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, I'm running out of water here. You and every last Autobot will be destroyed, Optimus Prime. Yeah, because like, it's not so like, and it isn't even so much that you have to get a nobody. You just need to get somebody good, you know? Yes. Ah, the original Megatron, my namesake. Yes. Oh, that was a sneaky one, Pussycat. Yes. She cast me as a transformer. I could do it if you really, really want. I mean, I'm not necessarily. The other thing is like I can. For me, I'm kind of the way I look at it is I'm doing an impersonation, and I don't want to necessarily do an impersonation. I want to make sure that I'm like acting and doing it right. So, I see what you're saying. When you watch the Unicron trilogy, though, you can see that some of those lines were written as like member berries, especially in Transformers Cybertron, when like Megatron all of a sudden becomes Galvatron, then all of a sudden um he starts doing what is it? Why am I losing my train of thought? Encourage everyone to watch the documentary. I know that voice, produced by John Major. Cool. You want a new character, eh? It's funny because like I never actually tried, but I mean, you think about it, my retrospective voice is technically like a voice into of in itself. It's an announcer voice, or it's a storyteller's voice. I if anything, maybe I could be a narrator. you know, in a story. But whoever is doing Cheetor's voice, he needs his yeah, that would be Ultra Gear. Philip Hall with 1990. Wow, man. Wow. I really appreciate that one too. Let's see. Let's go with this one here.
Stop! Let go of my dad!
I appreciate that, man. I really do. I've only been able to do one voice, and it's Starscream, and it hurts. Yeah, Starscream, Megatron. Like, you think about it, like these guys, they put their voice. It's work. It is work. So, should Galvatron? No, because if Cyclonus is like ultra loyal. Ultra loyal. And Rumble gave no Fs. Backhand. What is Fear Rib? Frenzy is red. Rumble is blue. And you remember, I did I've done a video on that, the whole Fear Rib, Rumble, and Frenzy. Which one is which? And yeah, Michael McConaughey, he did a bunch of throat rippers. He did Trax and he was Trax and Cosmos. And Cosmos, he was doing a bad Peter Lorre impression. So Web World was a funny episode, yeah. It's the RUM. So you want to rumble with Rumble, huh? Be ready to crumble before Rumble. I could imagine. I can totally imagine that happening. Yeah, Wally Burr wanted a twisted Peter Lorre for Cosmos. That's right. That is true. Yeah, and speaking of which, Lazy Eyebrow for my Skywarp retrospective did a skit for my Skywarp retrospective that I thought was absolutely awesome. And that is like, he does the first Megatron voice, but that after Starscream falls down the stairs, that's my Megatron voice at the end there. Problem was that I recorded it on a phone and then he inserted into a video, and I wish that he let me, like, if he raised my volume up because it was a little on the low side. So, but that was just because of the, like, how we were communicating with each other when I did that Skywarp retrospective. So, but yeah, Skywarp pushes Starscream down a flight of stairs. Who you calling unchrasmatic? Yeah, no one would follow an unchrasmatic. No one would follow. No, that's right. I'm screwing it up. It's getting late. It is 12:40, and I'm starting to get tired because I've been on for 2 hours and 54 minutes. G1 Toy Megatron was the most manly of Megatrons. True. You know what? Let's go do that. Ain't no one like G1. Here's a little G1 sound wave for you. But here is good old G1 Megatron. Let's say it's the illegal transformer. At least, well, it's not illegal in Florida, but it is legal in New Jersey. At least now, anyway. They couldn't make this figure anymore because of toy gun laws. But yep, peace through tyranny, baby. Transforming G1 Megatron right on screen. And let's give back his the scope of the gun is what becomes his arm cannon. Got to remember something, they're transforming. That's funny. Find it interesting that Megatron turned into a Walther P-38. Yeah, that's very true. So here's an interesting tidbit as well. Let me actually move that out of the way. So the cannon here on the back of him, the original toy, the instructions tell you to do it like this so that he has the cannon facing forward. Then, of course, he has his giant arm cannon. Look at the size of that arm cannon. Like, that's how big the thing is. You know, looking at good old G1 Megatron, right? But in the cartoon, and it's because it's based on the prototype, was done this way. So if I take this back section out, fold it this way, we always see Megatron with the barrel of the gun sticking up on his back. But in reality, that's not technically accurate, right? To the way the original toy was supposed to go, because it's actually it's supposed to kind of like fold. Like if you're trying to do it, you got to like fold it, you know, around on his back, just right, and then, you know, that's the back of Megatron. Which if you actually look at the back of the Megatron toy, this does follow the the animation model. Like, you think about it, like the way that the animation model works, the way the arm cannon's sitting back here, or the cannon sitting back here, the way that this whole back section here, someone was looking at the toy when they drew it. And yeah, I know people talk about the way that the helmet is, but like, hey, I'm still awake. Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. But do I have preferred? There's something about this. There's just something about this that just is just cool. It's just straight. And speaking of which, this isn't the American release to Megatron. This is actually the Japanese release. So the spring does work for pellets that it came with to shoot. They obviously did not release it that way, even in 1984, to have that. So, yeah. Little bit of tidbit there for you. Let's bring out. Here's one of Soundwave's cassettes. Overkill, as he's known. It's good chatting with you. And oh, yeah. And so, like I said, because it's the Japanese release of Megatron, here is his sword. The Japanese version of Megatron came with a chrome sword. So how awesome is that? Like that's the sword you see in Siege, right? That is G1 Megatron's sword from the Japanese release of Megatron. The American release just came with a gun. So then, of course, I've got Frenzy. I know what some people are going to say Rumble, right? And this I actually bought on eBay. But you know, I should have just waited to try and see if I can spend the money on an actual G1 Shockwave. But back in the day, I bought this, and it is Shockwave, or the Radio Shack release of the gray Shockwave, painted purple and used some parts, because obviously the purple fists and the purple blaster here, to make him G1 Shockwave. So he's painted, but it's Shockwave, and he's massive. And yeah, so that's a. But and speaking of which, the reason why G1 Shockwave in the comics is so much more devastating and so like evil. Look at him size comparison next to Megatron. Like, that's how big G1 Shockwave was. Yes, it is Shockwave. Yeah, it's a painted. It's a customized Shockwave into Shockwave. So it's Galactic Man Shockwave, you can say, yeah, but now in his true colors. But look, that's a size comparison between the two figures. So, but then again, the guy who made the Decepticon symbol, good old G1 Soundwave, with his opening door and everything. So, like I said, nothing like the old school, man. Ain't nothing like the old school. Yeah, those capacitors in his chest. Gotta love that old stuff, right? Ain't nothing like the old school. Ain't nothing like the old school. All right. I am going to call it a night. I am getting really tired. It is getting close to 1 a.m. for me, and I got to get up at. So, what time do I need to get up? Here's Wheeljack for you guys. Good old customized Earthrise / oh yeah, it's the I think it was the Earthrise release for Wheeljack. And I got Optimus Primal sitting on my chest, of course, on my desk here. Yeah. Yeah, it was just a chill stream. It has been an absolute blast for all you guys. Just chatting with you all, and it's great to talk to Transformers fans again. I invited some of the other YouTubers, but they were a little too busy. That's all right. It's Mother's Day, so tomorrow. Oh yeah, I have to get the card ready for my wife before she wakes up. So, but other than that, we're gonna have I hope everybody has a good one tomorrow. Have a good weekend, and new retrospectives will be coming soon, and news and videos and everything. So it, like I said, I really appreciate all of you guys who have stood on, and, watching me and chilling out, and always fun times to just talk with other Transformers fans. So as always, until next time, till all are one.